Welcome to the Midlife Edit, the podcast for women who are navigating the beautiful, messy, and sometimes sweaty journey of midlife. This isn't about a crisis, it's about an awakening. Join me, your host, Jen Weinstein, as I dive into all the things no one warned us about: hot flashes, brain fog, strength training, hormone balancing, and figuring out who the hell we are now. With a mix of expert insights, real talk, and a little humor, because if we're not laughing, we're crying, right? The Midlife Edit is your go to space for embracing this season with confidence, strength, and balance. Whether you're trying to lift heavier, sleep better, set stronger boundaries, or just remember why you walked into a room, this podcast is here to remind you midlife is not the end, it's just an edit, and you get to rewrite it your way. Hit subscribe and let's tackle midlife together, one episode at a time. This is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Midlife Edit. I'm your host, Jen Weinstein, and if you've ever looked around and thought, wasn't I supposed to have this all figured out by now? You're so not alone, friend. Today I'm going to dive into something that I think so many of us carry quietly, or maybe without even realizing it. It's this invisible timeline of where we should be by now. So whether it's your career goals or your relationships or weight loss or even just a general sense of happiness, we have this mental checklist. And if we're not checking those boxes fast enough or at the right quote unquote time, well, here comes the shame spiral. But listen, what if I told you there is no timeline? At least not one that actually matters. So let's talk about how we got here and who put this in our head and why we still believe it. Where does it come from? Listen, again, we are children. We are the children of the 80s and 90s. We grew up in the 80s and 90s with all of this sense of this is what you should be doing, and this is what you have to be doing. And look, our parents and our grandparents, they started a job, they worked that same job for 40 years, and then they retired. It was just the grind. It was day in, day out, same thing all the time. So from the time we were little, we're fed the story. You go to school, you graduate, you either get a job or you go to college and then get a job. And then you find the one, and then you buy the house with the white picket fence and 2.5 kids and a dog and a swing set. And then you crush it in your career while you're doing all of this. Plus, as women, we're also maintaining the house and making sure everything's clean. Oh, and don't forget about ourselves. We have to be dressed nicely and be on point all day, every day. Oh, and then you have to retire comfortably. But they wanted us to do it all by what, 40, 45? What a joke, right? Listen, we internalize this narrative and suddenly midlife rolls around and we're like, oh shit, did I miss a step? Or 5? And it's not just about career or relationships. It shows up in fitness and body image too, right? I should have started taking care of myself earlier. I should have lost the weight by now. I should have more energy or more motivation or more discipline. But who in the hell decides these deadlines anyway? Whose clock are we living by? So let me be real with you. I've absolutely fallen into this timeline trap. I think most people do. Even guys do. But when I turned 40, I had this kind of moment of, I don't know if it was panic, anxiety, awakening. I thought, wait, I'm supposed to have this all figured out by now, right? But I was also going through my own health journey. Newly-ish wed, married, and with a blended family, joining families and trying to figure out, the ups and downs of being a bonus mom and moving away from my family and into this new community. I was navigating perimenopause, even though I didn't realize what it was at first. Oh, and then also I was pivoting in my career and still trying to be everything to everyone. I was still trying to be that good wife and mom and stepmom and friend and sister and daughter and employee. But I just felt like I was behind. But who was I behind? I don't even know. Like, The pressure that I was putting on myself wasn't making me more productive. It was making me anxious, making me feel a little disconnected from my body, and honestly, kind of miserable. And it was all an internal struggle, right? Because what do we do on the outside? Put a smile on our face. And it reminds me of that movie, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, when Christina Applegate's there and she's shifting through papers and she's always told to say, no matter what, I'm right on top of that, Rose. That's kind of how I felt like I was. Like I felt like no matter what was happening, I was smiling and saying, yes, I'm on this. I've got this. I can do this. But eventually, I had to stop and ask myself, what if there is no late? What if this right here is exactly the right time? And that question, honestly, it opened something for me. I've said it before, and I have it behind the desk that I'm sitting at right now. But a couple years ago, I made a vision board. And on that vision board, I accomplished everything on it. It was over a 2.5 year period. But, mostly it was about some traveling that I wanted to do. It was about my health journey and how I really wanted to start taking care of myself. But also, I still have that hustle mentality. So I wanted to work hard. And I've changed jobs since then. And I'm very happy with what I'm doing now. The last thing on it was to start a podcast. And it took me a year after I've done everything else on that. It took me a year to start this podcast because I thought, oh, I'm too old. It's too late. But guess what? That's when I figured there is no too late. That was exactly the right time for me to do this. So here's a radical idea. What if you gave up that timeline? I don't know. Maybe it's, oh, I'm too old to go back to school. Or, oh, it's too late for me to meet new friends. Because, hey, let's talk about that too. Side note, I'm going to go off topic a little bit here. But over the weekend, the perimenopause was perimenopausing. And, I'm very honest with my struggles. And Saturday was no exception. I woke up. I had a great CrossFit workout. It was my first Saturday workout. I worked out with a partner. It was awesome. I loved it. And then I came home and nothing happened. Nobody said anything to me. Nothing catastrophic happened. But all of a sudden, I just was full of that anger and I was pissed off. So I spent the day rage cleaning. Yes, that's a thing. I cleaned my house from top to bottom to try to get the rage out, to try to make myself feel better. And then, my husband got home. He's in the restaurant business. So he got home a little bit early and we were just going to have a chill night. We had no plans. I didn't want to have any plans. But then all of a sudden I'm upset and crying because we didn't have plans to do anything. And then I'm upset and crying because honestly, making friends at this age is really freaking hard. And sometimes you just need a girlfriend. My husband is amazing. I love him to death, but he's not a girl. He doesn't understand. He's not a woman. I'm sorry, girl, lady, woman. You know what I mean. He doesn't understand the things I'm going through. And sometimes I just crave that female companionship. And I was so upset because at that moment in time, I felt super lonely and I didn't know what to do about it. And so eventually, we went to bed and I use a coffee pot. Now I've upgraded. I do use the beautiful by Drew coffee pot, but I don't do the Keurig, right? So we set coffee every day for the next day. And I woke up and I heard my phone go off. My husband was already downstairs and he sent me a picture and he was like, yeah, it really hit you yesterday, didn't it? And I'm thinking, what is he talking about? And I looked and I set the coffee pot, but I didn't put coffee in it. And I just brewed hot water because my brain fog was there. I had that rage. It was just terrible. So anyway, back to my whole timeline story. Like, what if something I have to remind myself of is I'm not too old to make friends. It's not too late to find a new best friend. And if you think about it too, I mean, look, if you have never been married or you're divorced or you're looking for a change in your relationship, it's never too late to fall in love, right? So what if you gave up that timeline? And I don't mean give up on your goals or stop striving. I mean, letting go of the belief that there's a deadline to be happy or strong or healed or successful. So, what would it look like if you started your fitness journey at 47? Or you changed careers at 52? Are you ready for this one? What if you set boundaries for the first time ever? What if you begin again without feeling like you're starting over? Because guess what? Starting over isn't a setback, it's a power move. There's no expiration date on becoming who you want to be. And honestly, midlife might be the best time to do it because now, guess what? You get to do it for you. I say it all the time to anybody that'll listen, really. What do you want to be when you grow up? Because I don't think I'm grown up. I think I've changed what I wanted to be when I grew up many times. And I think that's okay. I think I'm finally figuring out who I am and what I want to do for me. And it's really hard, right? It's really hard to switch that brain of um, taking care of yourself. And when I say that, I mean all aspects, mentally, physically, emotionally. Maybe it is time to set those boundaries. Maybe it is time to start your fitness journey. And maybe it's not because you want to see a different number on the scale. Maybe it's because you want to be strong. Or maybe it's because you know that it's good for your mental health too. Maybe it's time to see a therapist after 56 years of life. It's never too late to start something that you want to do, especially if it's for you. So listen, if this episode is really resonating with you, I want to give you a few ways to reframe this timeline mindset. So first, we're going to name that timeline trap. Write down any shoulds you've been carrying. Where did they come from? Are they even yours? Do you really think that about yourself? Do you really think that you should be doing X, Y, and Z by this time? Number 2, let's rewrite those milestones. So instead of deadlines, let's create milestones. Milestones that feel aligned with your current life and not the ones you were told you should have. Number 3, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to grow slowly, to pivot, to start again, to rest, and to redefine what success looks like to you. And number 4, celebrate your late blooms. Listen, some of the best chapters happen after 40 or 50 or 60. That's not late. It's right on time. So if you follow me on social media, you know that I try almost every Wednesday, I put up a new journal prompt. So this week's journal prompt is going to be simple but powerful. So this week's prompt is, what would you do differently if there was no deadline to meet? Write about it. If you don't like to write, talk about it. Sit with it. See what comes up. I really love the fact that I can sit here behind this microphone and talk about this because it does help me in my own journey, but I hope it empowers you to do something different because you're not too old to do anything. You're not too old to redefine your style. If you've been wearing the same kind of style the whole time, but you've really wanted to switch it up, do it. Do what makes you happy, not what makes everybody else happy. Look, we are in midlife. We are at the top of our game, and it's just going to keep getting better. I just need one favor from you. If you love my podcast, please share it with somebody that you know it would help, or somebody that you think would love it, or just learn something from it. And if this episode particular sparked something for you, I'd love to hear about it. Email me at jen@themidlifeeditco.com or connect with me over on Instagram at thejenweinstein or TikTok. Join the Midlife Gains Club on Facebook. We're going to start normalizing the idea that your timeline is your own. And again, midlife isn't a crisis. It's a creative reset. I'm going to continue to talk about this. We're going to continue to talk about how amazing we are as midlife women. And I have some special guests lined up for the rest of the summer. I really hope that everybody's enjoying their summers, and I really hope that you're taking in some of these things and you're sitting with it and you're starting to realize that you are badass and you're going to continue to be badass throughout the rest of your life. Thanks for being here with me. I appreciate you more than you know. You listeners do more for me than I do for you, tenfold. But listen, stick with it. Start whatever you want to today. And I'll see you next week. This is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter.